Talk to me, Majestic Talks. Come and talk to me. Talk to me, Majestic Talks. Come and talk to me. Majestic Talks. Come and talk to me.
Hi there. Welcome to the Majestic Talk Show. I'm your host, Latasha Morgan, certified Christian life coach, certified professional life coach, board certified master Christian mental health coach, and a whole lot of other goodies, y'all. It's time for the show. Our topic is love and self-care. We have two guests today, Dr. Tiffany Quinn and Charise Bennett. Let's welcome them to the stage tonight. Hello, Charise. How are you?
Good evening. How are you doing? I'm so excited to be here this evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's good to have you as well. Hello, Dr. Quinn. Welcome to the Majestic Talk Show.
Well, hello. I am so grateful to be here as well.
Good. Charise, will you introduce yourself to us?
Yes, I was trying to find it so I can share it to my page, but we'll share it later. Good evening. My name is Charise Bennett. I am the founder of the Best Me Ever movement. The Best Me Ever movement was created to help women and other people grow in self-love and confidence in order to walk in their purpose and achieve their goals. And we do that through practicing self-love and self-care and all the other selves that come into play. I'm located in Chicago, Illinois. I am an author, speaker, humorist, and a coach. And I am so excited to share the message of the Best Me Ever movement with you all this evening.
Good. Thank you again for being here. Dr. Quinn, please introduce yourself to us.
So I am Dr. Tiffany Quinn. I am a social worker and life coach. I help people declutter their thoughts and ideas, manage their emotions, and move forward. Everyone has a story, so that's another thing that I help people with. I'm a 4-time best-selling author. I too have a self-care journey that I put in the book. I also have a journal, the 365 Days of Self-Care. And so I am on this journey with you guys as well.
That's good. Thank you again for being here. And that's good because we have two experts that can talk to us about self-love and self-care. So which one of you want to talk first?
I'm happy to talk. I'm always happy to talk. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I want to talk about how the Best Me Ever movement came to be, and it'll kind of lead me into how I arrived at self-love and self-care. So I started out, long story short, I was doing a little bit of stand-up writing. I was in my late 30s. And what I started out talking about was the fact that as a single, childless Black woman of a certain age, I have all these messages that society has put on me about how, you're not good enough, you're failing as a woman, your worth is in your womb, you should be this or you should be that, you should have accomplished all these things by a certain age. And so I did a little comedy thing about that. And I had to realize that I can either take all these things that people say about me or all these ideas of what and who I should be put onto me, and I can absorb those things and live that life, or I can be radical about how much I love myself and how much I respect myself and the compassion I have for myself. And I can turn that into a movement because I am not what you say I am, right? I love myself enough to know that I am great just as I am. There are things I can improve on, but that's my choice to improve upon them. Your opinions of me should not impact how I feel about myself. My self-esteem should not be reflected by what the manosphere says or what the Red Pill podcast say about who I am. And so I found that message resonated with a lot of other women who may have children, who may be married in different walks of life. They all felt inadequate in some ways. And I'm like, wow, so many of us are feeling this way. There has to be a way to address that. And I found the best way to address that is through self-love. You have to love yourself into being the best version of yourself. No matter what somebody else says that version of you should be, you decide what that version of you is, because you have to love yourself enough to do that. And so once you get to that place where you're, confident, you can do the things that you want to do and set out to do, but you have to love yourself enough to block out everything else and focus on what's best for you. And that's how the Best Me Ever movement came to me.
Okay, that's good. So self-love, I think it's important. Like I said before we came on, Charise, self-love is very important, especially for people who look like us, because we're normally told, like you said, that, maybe sometimes it is you're too black or you're too light. You're
Right.
too big, you're too tall, you are this and you're that. And that does keep us from actually loving ourselves. It also keeps us from actually performing self-care for ourselves too, because we always think that we have to be above everyone else. We have to do, and we do have to do way more than other people that don't look like us do, because we will be scandalized if we don't. So we have to. We also, in regards to self-care too, we are also taught to be strong, especially women, Black women. We're taught to be strong and we can do anything. And that's how people look at us. And I think that goes back to, hate to mention slavery. It goes back to then, because we are always considered to be like mules, right? So we were doing all the work while everybody was sitting in the house. And so that travels along down the line. And I know a lot of people don't talk about that, but there is a connection between then and now. We still carry the same thing with us because we're taught the same thing. We have to be strong, right? And I think a lot of us don't do a lot of things because of those issues. Okay, well, if I get in front of a camera, then they're going to see how big I am, right?
Right. I'm going to be judged for this and that. Yeah.
We're going to judge ourselves, especially women, because we see small women, we see petite women, they have to look, and we think that we have to look a certain way. So Dr. Quinn was saying that. Talk to us about self-care.
Well, I had to learn that. And self-care is easier said than done in some cases. And I just think that we have to empower not only ourselves, but others. When you start your self-care journey and begin to put those boundaries in place, family members, co-workers, employers, they begin to look at you like you got two heads.
Like, you out of order. What are you doing?
But you have to honor your capacity. You are not able to show up as your best self when you are not loving yourself and doing that work, that self-care. It's a lot of inner work. I actually started my self-care journey after I lost my son in 2019. Yeah. And I began to write, and I began to feel, a sense of relief, and I began to write. And so one of my journals is called Write to Heal. So writing was my self-care. It was my jam. It was what I was doing. And people would start saying, man, all you do is write. All you doing is that. So what I'm doing is bothering you? No, I'm doing this for myself. So also in self-care, I don't talk a lot. I have really toned back, because silence is like medicine as well. We came here with a blank slate. Our brains were blank. And as we began to fill our brains with everything, multitasking and doing all these things that society expects us to do, even as being a Black woman, just like you said, we're expected to do 10 times as much and be strong, be stronger. Well, who's being strong for us? So that's where self-care comes in, where you have to do it for yourself. Okay. So I just feel like we're in a season of just busyness. And I tell people now, like, their emergency can't be my emergency.
I know that's right.
So I rather, and I'm working on this, I'm still a work in progress. I rather feel guilty about saying no than to
Right.
say yes and then not show up as my best self.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
That's
That's
that's one of
true.
the big things that I talk about in. I have a course that I do called the Self-Love Makeover, and it talks about the 6 aspects of self and how if you're not valuing yourself as your self-awareness, your self-worth, your self-respect, which is boundary placing, right? Self-growth, self-esteem, and self-care. If you're not taking care of yourself in these areas, you can't truly love yourself, because at the end of the day, one of the things I always talk about whenever I'm speaking is that you are the only person you have to spend the rest of your life with.
That's true.
Think about
Mhm.
it. Everybody else can pass away. Everybody else can be gone. You be by yourself. Your relationship with yourself has to be the most important and most valuable one in your life, because it's the only one that you have to have the rest of your life. Literally, that's it. And so practicing self-care, taking that time to fill yourself back up before you pour out to everybody else. It's a lot of times people think it's selfish, but it's really revolutionary. It's an act of taking ownership of the best relationship that you have to have in your life. Is the one with you. And so by taking time out to just sit, like I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money for self-care. Like I know a lot of people think it's just about getting your nails done and your hair done.
Mhm.
Things are important, but sometimes sitting in quiet is self-care. Sometimes saying no is self-care, or not overextending yourself is practicing self-care.
Yeah, I think that I've had a problem with that before, about overextending myself, because when you can do something and someone needs it, you're like, okay, it would be selfish for me not to do it. I mean, I have this gift, I have this talent. They need help, so why not use it? And sometimes, as being as someone who used to work in a church, I would think, okay, well, God might not like this. If
It'll be
I
all right. He love you anyway.
no, but listen now, this is how some people think. Well,
Yeah.
God might not like this. God gave me this gift. I need to use it. But then the scripture comes that even in the beginning, God rested on the 7th day.
Yeah.
So if I'm supposed to present myself as someone that's in his image and in his likeness, then the same thing he did, I should be doing, right? So that started making me take time, because a lot of time people say, I don't have a lot of time. And someone asked me yesterday, they said, what do you do if you are so busy you really don't have time? I said, you take time to go to the bathroom, don't you?
Hey,
Now that's self-care, because guess what? It don't take but 5 minutes. You can be in there.
but
I used
some people will, I've seen teachers do it and people that work in high need areas. Do you know that they will neglect themselves, hold their water, hold their bladder,
mm-hmm.
um, making themselves suffer and end up running themselves into bad health because of it.
Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's been studies done on the rate of Black women who are dying from stress-related diseases, like, and not caring for yourself. Life is stressful, right? We're living through a pandemic. We're living through this almost recession. Eggs at $8 a carton. Life is already so hard in that so many things affect us. And they affect us physically. You may not think you overextending yourself or holding your water, like you just said, is a bad thing, but it's reflecting in your body. And we're leaving here faster than anybody else because of
Mm-hmm.
stress, because we don't take care of ourselves. And it's not that we choose not to. It's a lot of times we feel like we don't have any other options. And that's something we have to address through self-care and through practicing self-love.
Yeah. And like I said, I told them you can take time to go to the bathroom, so you can take time to do self-care. So I thought about that, because I used to be in the bathroom and I would just be in the bathroom laughing, just having this whole good conversation. I used to get the best revelations, the best revelations in the bathroom, because there And I know this sounds strange, but you are releasing things there. You have that quiet. Nobody is in there bothering you. So take that time. If you are busy any other time, take that time you have for self-care, just to sit and think. And you'll be surprised of the ideas that come to you. You'll be surprised of the revelations that come to you, the things you can talk yourself through, because I do it all the time. I think my family used to be laughing at me because I'll be, and they'll be like, what are you laughing about? What are you talking about? You know, I'll be in there singing, I'll be practicing, all of that, just because it used to give me so much great relief, because that's the moment you have by yourself when no one is there with you. So take that time. Start with 5 minutes and build up to 10 and 15. And that's how you'll show yourself that you love yourself. What are you laughing at, Dr. Quinn?
No, I mean, I agree. That actually took me into my mindfulness and meditation journey. That's why I was smiling. I took a yoga ed class, but it wasn't so that I could become a teacher and teach it. I ended up getting certified in it, but I learned how to meditate and really listen to the inner voice, not the other voices that tell me I need to start thinking about tomorrow. I need to think about all the other things that I have to do, but learning how to be present in the moment and then being mindful in order to reduce the stress that I was going through in my life. So I use meditation to cultivate my inner peace.
Yeah, that's important. It's important because, like I said, I found myself doing that all the time. It was just, like I said, I'd be laughing in there and just having a real good time. And when I come out, I'll be so at peace.
Making time for yourself is the key to all of it. Making, just even if it's that 10 minutes of you time, just to be with you is all you need. Like I created this moments for me box that I had like available at the holidays.
I like that.
Yeah, it's called Moments.
I like that.
And it comes with the journal. It comes with the, I can't see because I'm working backwards. The candle, the wine glass, the mug, the pen, and even these affirmation cards you can throw in your purse to remind you throughout the day. Like there's scriptures, there's little activities, like get up and like, I know for me at work, I have to stop and drop my shoulders because you don't realize how much you're holding here when you're working, especially at work. And there's a card that says, hey, relax your shoulders. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't done that today. And so that's what the whole Moments for Me box is, just to take 10 minutes, either to start your day or finish your day, just to take a little time for yourself to decompress, because we don't do that. We just go to bed, get up, and start all over again. Go through the whole day. Like me, I got work. I'm working on my doctorate right now. I got the business. I got family, and I go to bed and start over again the next day. But if I make that time, my self-care is making the time to take that 10 minutes just for me, not to plan tomorrow, but to sit in what happened today.
Okay. So, Charise, by the way, I love your name because my god sister's name is Charise too.
Charise is your name.
I love your name too, Dr. Quinn, but I was just saying because her name is my god sister's name. And I love her so much. But anyway.
I love the name of her business, like Best Me Ever Movement. I love it.
Yeah.
It takes time to get to your best. It's not a moment, right? You don't just, I'm good today, because tomorrow you might not be good. So it's learning the tools to use when you're having those points where you're like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. It's learning how to adjust when you're feeling that way to keep going. So it's not like, oh, it's just a moment. Today I'm good. It's a movement. It takes time. It's a journey to become the best ever. And the best me today is probably going to be different from the best me 3 years from now. Right? The best ever version of me, I finish my degree, she'll be somebody else, because she's gonna be Dr. Charise. She's gonna act up real bad when she finishes the degree. She's gonna be a mess. But who I am today is not who I was 5 years ago. So you're moving.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's another part of it.
A small town. And so there are the doctorate degree for Black women is really increasing. And I'm not sure where that's going to land us in the future. I'm hopeful that it would allow us to take more leadership roles, allow more inclusive settings, to be birthed out of it.
Mhm.
But I live in a small town, so we're still working. We're still working on
It'll happen.
Charise,
Yes.
to the person, and Dr. Quinn, I'm gonna ask you the question too, but it's gonna relate to self-care. I want you to think of this person, this imaginary person. This person does not see herself as confident. She doesn't see herself as somebody should love. She may have never even experienced love in the aspect that maybe some of us have. What would you say to that person? What are some of the things she could do to increase her self-love and confidence?
So for me, that process starts with self-worth. It's realizing that no matter what else is going on in your life, the fact that you're still here, the fact that you're still taking in air, you're inhaling, exhaling, it means you're still breathing. You still have activity, right? You still have value to give. You are worth something. Now, you might not know what that is right now. You might have to figure out your purpose. You may not feel like anybody else understands you, but coming to understanding that because you're still here, there's something for you to do. To me, that is the first step in anything. Understand, like, you know what? I have something to do because I'm here. I have value. I have worth. And then once you get that idea in your head and you have an affirmation, even if it's one that you found from a rap song, because they got plenty of them, right? Even if it's something from a gospel song, one line that you take, that you carry with you and you repeat every day. Even if you don't feel it right now, you're constantly saying it, eventually it will get down inside of you. And if you're at a point in your life where you can't see that way out, I always say therapy. Like, I can tell you all kind of stuff, but if there's something that's deep inside that you haven't dealt with, seek professional help to start. And once you can get on an even keel, then what I'm talking about can start to take root. But if there's something that's just so deep that needs to be dug out professionally, I would start there. But always self-worth and understanding that because you're still here, you have value. And so many of us feel like we don't have anything to offer. Because I went through that when I didn't have kids and I wasn't married. I'm like, what do I have to offer except this amazing smile and personality? But I had to get to the point where I saw those as valuable things, right? I had to feel valuable first before I could be like, oh yeah, I got to share this with the world. Y'all missing out. I had to feel that inside first before I could give it to somebody else.
That's good. I love that. And the fact that you mentioned the purpose thing, because that's what I help people do, find their purpose. That's very important.
Yes.
And I think that is something that causes people to say, I don't need to be here because I'm worthless. I'm a waste of matter and a waste of time because they don't know their purpose. But here's one thing to add to what you said that person can start with. Find out what your name means first. Because if you go back in time and you go back in scripture, if you notice, every person that was named, their purpose was written in their name. In their name,
yeah.
Yeah. Whenever Moses, he drew out the children of Israel from Egypt, right? God used him to do that. He knew that was his job. Of course, a lot of people don't know that because they don't look in the book of Hebrews, but the book of Hebrews says that he knew that. He knew that already. We just assumed that he always had a tongue that's, he always had stuttered and stuff. We just assumed that he did. But in the book of Hebrews, it says that he knew what his purpose was. And that's why he did the things he did when he slayed the soldier. And when he told the Hebrews, don't fight each other. He did that so that they'll know that God had chosen him and brought him to deliver them. But he did exactly what God had purposed him to do, and that was written in his name. And if you think about Jesus, what God said his name would be Emmanuel, God with us. He walked on this earth, so that was also his purpose. He was with us. Everybody's purpose is written in their name, and it's up to you to find out. And I think that today we don't make that such a major thing, but back in the day they did. They named you according to what they saw in you. And also, to that very same person, remember that even if somebody doesn't like you, every time they say their name, they don't know it. Every time they say your name, they are speaking a prophetic word over your life. The very thing that God purposed for you is, like I said, it's written in your name. So every time somebody says it, you are reminded of what God has said about you. Dr. Quinn.
I'm enjoying this. This feels like self-care to me right now. I was actually encouraging people, telling them you need to take this time and allow this to be your self-care moment. But this feels good. I like what you said, Charise. I too look at the self-discovery aspect of things. You have to know like who you are, where you're going, what your purpose is, and I like to write a goal or write a vision and make it plain, and do like an assessment to find out where we need to go. Sometimes when I meet with clients, they're in need of mental health support. Maybe I'll refer them to have a psychological eval or something like that so that they can manage their emotions and get started on the journey as we begin to work through and process and build a self-care journey or journal. In the journey or the journal is the self-discovery sheets so they can begin to look inside themselves. Some people don't even realize it. They're dealing with so much stress, and stress is no longer the number one killer, but suicide is.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are putting so many things on their plate, feeling like they have to have their cape on every day. And that's not love and that's not self-care, but some people mistake um, multitasking and doing all of these things. And I heard you mention the church, and I I was like, that's a tough one right there. My dissertation focus was bridging gaps between faith and mental health, and
Listen, you preaching. You preaching.
paid 100 pastors to talk to them about like mental health. And what I ended up in a whole thing referring pastors.
Yeah, because they don't know either.
No, and they didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Like
And
this,
that's sad.
And they
exactly.
pass down to their parishioners, to their flock. They spread it to their kids. Don't nobody know. And we have to do a better job of that.
So they had to learn how to unplug and disconnect, and that's part
Practice
of
self-care by going to therapy.
taking those breaks and searching inside yourself, finding that inner you, and then strengthening that. But I also like that piece about the name. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Now that thing about the church now, that's one of the things that I've started working on. Well, I actually started offering a course for pastors and lay ministers and the lay persons in the church, because we do have to know how to counsel people. So I have this pastoral counseling course that'll be coming up soon. But you have to know how to do it. And that way, when you know how to do it and know how to provide the right setting to really disconnect from that leadership position and just say, okay, I'm gonna sit with you just like, not a friend, not a mother or father, but just sit with you as someone who just want to walk with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's special, just like Jesus did. He sat with them. He wasn't just he was able to be a servant to them as well. So if they were just taught how to counsel people, I think it'll be a lot better. Because they don't know. And I don't think, I went to seminary and they taught me that. Now I don't know what everybody else does. But
everybody didn't go to seminary. That's it. Everybody didn't get to. A lot of people got called and didn't go nowhere else but answer the phone.
Go past what?
A lot of people got called but didn't go anywhere else but to the church after they answered the phone. Like they didn't get the formal training. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it.
Yeah, no, but see, when God said that to me, because see, my father was a minister as well and co-pastor. So
yeah,
and that ministerial thing that's running my family a little too much for me. But
tell me about it.
But even with that, like with the self-love makeover, I've done it for women's conferences, and a lot of concepts nobody's ever heard of because they're like go and they do everything because they're women in church. So they got all these things they're doing and never learning about, hey, set some boundaries. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So the message goes to the women's company. They're like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, yeah,
yeah, we need to come together and do something together then. Because it seemed like we had the answer combined together, don't we?
right.
So one of the messages that I was able to, I feel like they received it, was I used the butterfly effect. My logo is the butterfly. So I talk about like transforming your mindset and shifting your mindset. So when you sign up for any of my classes, you're going on a transformational journey. And this is the thing about those type of transformational journeys. I talk about the caterpillar. I'm making a long story short, and the stages the caterpillar go through. But one thing about it, when they come out of the cocoon, you don't know if it's going to come out a moth or a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So the moth doesn't have a color, but it still has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
However, the thing about the moths, no one really likes the moth. They're trying to kill the moth because it's trying to eat your fine clothes. And when the butterfly comes out, the monarch butterfly, or, just the butterfly with all the beautiful colors, it comes out and its purpose is to shine. Just let your light shine. Just let it happen. But that moth has like a lot of work to do. So when you're in your journey of transformation, the one thing you need to know is figure out, are you wanting to come out a moth or do you want to come out a butterfly? I want to come out a butterfly because the moth, everybody trying to kill the moth. The moth trying to eat your fine
Butterfly.
yeah. And the moth just got so much work to do. Like, so the butterfly gets to fly around and be beautiful.
Yeah. I love that though. That was great. Y'all, I have enjoyed y'all being on the show today. I really have. This has been an amazing show about self-love and self-care. Thank you so much for being here. Charise, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, you can see it right there in my name. You can find me in these internet streets at Best Me Ever Movement. My website is my name, www.charisebennett.com. You can find, I have t-shirts with positive messages, books, all kinds of stuff on there. So if you want to check that out, also the best, if you click the link in my bio, you can find the Moments for Me box I showed you a minute ago. They are marked down right now. So if you want it, you should go get it right now before I change the price again, because I forgot to do it. So
Dr. Quinn, tell everyone how to get in touch with you.
Well, if you go to my Linktree, Dr. TJ Quinn, all of my information is in there, my books, my website. You'll find ways to connect with me and have a 15-minute free call. You can also just reach out to me, 810-449-8982. And you can email me, drtjquinn2020@gmail.com. So,
Everyone, thank you so much for watching the show. This has been the Majestic Talk Show. I'm your host, Latasha Morgan, certified Christian life coach, certified professional life coach, board certified master Christian mental health coach, and a whole lot of other good things. Look, thank you so much. And make sure you take care of yourself. Operate in self-love and self-care. It doesn't take a lot of time, y'all. Good night. Have a nice night. Thank you for watching.
thank you.
Talk to me,